Iawn, cynan yma eto, yr un hen stori. Yn anffodus, mae'r bennod yma yn y Saesneg, ond o'n i'n gweld hi'n siom enfawr os o'n i'n methu cael cyfweld a Phrif Hyfforddwr. Yr unig tîm American football Cymraeg yng Nghymru, Jacob Law hefo'r South Wales Warriors. Felly, dwi'n ymwneud eto am fod hwn yn y Saesneg, ond ar ôl y bennod yma, dwi'n gobeithio wir fod dwi yn cael cyfarfod hogiau sy'n siarad Cymraeg ar y tîm mwyn cael cyfweld nhw hwyrach mlaen yn y flwyddyn a cael mynegu, cael iddyn nhw cael mynegu barn nhw yn y Cymraeg efo fi. Felly, heads up, eto dwi'n ymddiheuro, ond mae'r pennod yn rili dda, regardless, so os ydych chi just peidio meddwl gorfod amdano fo, fydd hi'n ffain. O na, cys i lot o hwyl yn recordio hwn hefo Jacob, oedd sgwrs yn naturiol, a oedd rili ddiddorol i rando hi, ar hyd ei hanes hyfforddi. Felly, diolch yn fawr iawn, na i weld chi fydd yn iawn.
Enw fi di Cynan Anwyl a dych chi'n gwrando i Ydy'r Helmed yn ffitio. Podlediad amdan yr NFL trwy gyfrwng y Gymraeg. Dyma be i ddisgwyl yn y bennod yma.
It was our first playoff game in a while, and I don't think they were expecting the stand to be packed out with about 250 to 300 fans.
Wow. Let's talk about last year and how it went for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year was very interesting. It was certainly the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
It's very defensive focused draft from you guys. So what do you make of that one as well? You guys focusing more on defense than offense.
I think it's probably the right thing to do. I mean, you just hope that Danny Dimes comes back healthy and as he was. I have a huge skepticism about the idea that he is.
Iawn, enw fi di Cynan Anwyl a Chris Onoli, Ydy'r Helmed yn ffitio. Different, well, not a different episode. This is I've been excited for this one actually because I've been following the South Wales Warriors stuff for quite some time, with them being, at the moment the only Welsh adult American football team, in Wales. So I have with me Coach Jacob Law, who, I mean, off the get-go, I don't know how long you've been with the team. This is why I've got you on. I want to know everything about how you got into coaching, how it is coaching with the only Welsh side, the Welsh American football side there is, and just everything about you, man. So, firstly, how are you?
Thank you ever so much. No, I really appreciate you inviting me on to come and speak, and especially, talking about South Wales Warriors football, which is probably my favourite type of football there is. Not been biased. It feels like home when, playing with the South Wales Warriors. So now I'm really pleasure to be here, and thanks for the platform.
Nah, no worries at all, man. So we'll start off simple. How did you get into American football, like from the start then?
Yeah, man. So I started playing, this is, I think, year 13 in American football for me now. I joined my first team back in 2013, in the off-season program for the Cornish Sharks. No longer, RIP Cornish Sharks, now the Cornwall Monarchs. But I started playing there. Basically, my rugby coach at the time, I was Cornwall, fringe county, and my coach was like, "What are you doing in the off season to stay fit?" And I said, running, lifting. And he was like, "Have you ever thought about playing American football?" And I was like, I've watched a game, a little bit here and there. I watched the Super Bowl with the Broncos and the Seahawks, and it was a blowout. And I was like, "What is this?
Yeah.
This is ridiculous." And then so I started literally the first session I went there, and pads, helmet, met the guys, and I was just like, this sport is incredible. To actually play it and be a part of it and to learn it. I think I spent the next 5 weeks, and which has continued on to now 13 years of just watching it, trying every Sunday, watching it, highlights, watching it. And so, yeah, I played at the Sharks for like 2 or 3 seasons. And then I went to university after that because I was in college at the time. And I went to the Basketball Bulldogs. Shout out the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the uni ball team. I played there for a season and loved the program. Didn't enjoy my time at university, unfortunately, so I left uni.
Oh, sorry to hear.
But enjoyed not the culture of the team necessarily, but the presence of the team, my teammates, and thought I really wanted to be a part of it still. So I decided to get a job, live in Bath, and decided to be an assistant coach there. And it wasn't until, I coached as an assistant on and off for about a few years, going back to Cornwall for a season, and then just stuck to coaching mainly for a couple of years at Spa. And then unfortunately the coaching staff left. One of the coaches was supposed to return. Unfortunately, he passed away. Shout out Chris Seal.
Sorry to hear.
One of my, one of my favorite coaches that made me love it even more when I came to university. And so there was an opportunity to be the head coach. And, after about 3 years of like dedicating my time to the team as a part, coach, I didn't want to see the team fold. And so I said, well, I'll do it. Me and one of the coaches kind of shared the reins as far as running it. And eventually I was really fortunate to kind of cultivate it and make it like something that I cared about and be the head coach there. Secured the first win in 7 years.
Nice.
And then it felt so good. We treated ourselves to a second one that season. And
nice. Nice one. Nice.
But and then I'm fortunate enough, I met my fiance in Bath at the time.
Wow.
And we moved in together. We lived whilst I coached. She was like the biggest fan, always helping out on game day, keeping everyone in line, keeping everyone in check, shouting at the other team. And when COVID happened, I moved to Wales to move with her family for a bit because it just made sense for us at the time. After COVID came down and the COVID season was up, she kind of said to me, she was like, you're going to play again? And I was thinking, well, a bit past it, I'm not sure. And this was me at like, 20, this was me at like 24. And I was like, oh, a bit past it now, like, I don't, am I bothered? And then I messaged the Warriors Instagram page. Little did I know that one of my best mates, Babe Atkins, who was a coach with me last year and a few years before that as well, replied to me. Was like, "Yeah, come down for a session. We're getting ready for the COVID year of American football in 2021." And yeah, again, it was reminiscent of like going back to that first Sharks practice and just falling in love with the sport all over again. Realizing like teammates, community. People who were so passionate about like representing Wales as well. And for me, I'm not Welsh. I grew up in Cornwall. I lived in Bath, and I moved here. But it just gave me such an appreciation for like the passion behind Welsh sport, and their friend. I'm fortunate enough to have made friends for life on this team, and and I started playing. 2-3 seasons, I think, under Dean Jackson, who's was a great coach for me. He's one of the reasons why I fell in love with the sport back again as much as I did. At the time, I was still coaching at Baspar, kind of uni season there, adult ball Warriors, and we kind of had a 3-year run there. And unfortunately, Dean left after 3 years there, and they came to me basically and said, "Look, you're still interested in coaching." And at this point, I was very much at a crossroads about what I wanted to do with my life and what I wanted to really pursue. And coaching was one of those things that I really wanted to take seriously. And I had this offer from the Warriors. They said, "Do you want to be our head coach?" And at the same time, I was leaving the Basketball Bulldogs after about probably about 7 years of being coach there, and because it just, I was living in Cardiff, traveling from Wales, taking a train every two times a week to coach. And I was
how hard was it for you to stop? Well, not to to leave after having started your coaching journey with Bath, and having brought in, gained that first win after 7 years, and having that, that underdog story type thing. How hard was it for you to make that decision to leave at the end?
It was incredibly difficult. It was easy in the sense of I knew I had gone as far as I could go with the team. I don't think we amounted like great success anywhere outside of the club, but inside the club there was great success in the sense of the pride that people took in playing for the team. The quality of football improved, in my opinion, and we were limited in what we could do with the resources, and I got to a point where it was like, well, it's time to pass the reins on. It was incredibly difficult, emotional to, still not, to not be coaching there, but also I'm glad to see they're still going and doing well, and
yeah, of course,
always giving their best. And I'm really lucky that we've got one of the current Bulldogs, on the South Wales Warriors right now.
Awesome.
So I get to check in with him regularly. I know we've got our old boys game coming up soon enough, so I'll see I'll see the current team soon enough. But yeah, no, it was really emotional, and the team were really, really good. That's my retired jersey up there, 28.
Wow.
It would be a black and gold one, but I gave the shirt off my back to one of the players one time so he could have an eligible number. And I never saw that jersey again. I never saw it again. I was like, damn, he's got a relic right there. So yeah.
You couldn't track him down, find his house or anything?
He doesn't live. I'm fairly certain he doesn't live in the continent anymore. I think he was Malaysian. He travelled back to Malaysia.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was like, damn, it's long gone. And I don't know if I want to pay international shipping. I was like, damn. Bless them, that one printed up for me, and it was really, really sweet of them. So terribly emotional.
That's so sick.
But also, when that door closed, another door opened, and
of course,
when it was announced that I was leaving, I had a message from really, really talented coach Jack Farr, who coached at the University of West England, but we had met each other when we had coached against each other at Bath Spa when he was at Plymouth University. And Jack's doing tremendous things for this game. He coaches at the NFL Academy right now, running back coach. Yeah, he's tremendously talented. He's done a stint in America coaching in the Ivy League Lafayette College.
Wow.
And so he messaged me after I announced I was leaving, and he said, do you want to come to the University of West England? I can speak to Coach Dan Mae'r for you. And I was like, nah, you surely not. I was like what, the second, third worst team in the country, and you want to bring me to UE? And about 30 minutes later, Coach Mae'r was on the phone to me, he spoke to me, and I never looked back. That whole experience changed my life. Like, my perspective, my outlook as a coach, how I go about dealing with things. So at that moment when the Warriors said, do you want to be the head coach? University of West England said, do you want to come and be our special teams coordinator and D-line coach? I was like, no, this is where I want to go. This is the trajectory I want to set in my life. And, really grateful to all those people who've given me that kind of foothold to go forward. So that's when I decided to start my master's in sports coaching at Cardiff Met.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's kind of been full go coach mode since then. And
I can imagine.
Yeah. Lots of coaching since that moment there in like 22, 23. Like, it's been full go. But really grateful for it. Yeah, there's been lots of really good coaches and staffs who've just been rock solid for me, and helped enact the vision that we're trying to work here.
Wow, that is crazy. I mean, there was some bits to your story where I was like, oh, this isn't too dissimilar to how I got into it, but you are that is a crazy journey. But so if we go all the way back to the start, so you started off playing rugby beforehand.
Yeah.
Now I know. Moving away a little bit from coaching, we'll go back to it later on. But how hard was it for you? Maybe not for yourself and being able to play the game, but getting stick from other people, especially with you having probably mates and a bunch of people that you knew from a rugby background, and then you went on to play American football. I'm speaking from experience because I came from a rugby background, especially in North Wales, where it's the religion. It's like, especially I was growing up on a farm, it's like farming and rugby, that was it. So when I came back after my first year in uni, or after like the first, reading week or whatever, and telling my dad, like, oh yeah, I started playing American football, and telling the rugby club, being like, oh yeah, I play American football now. So how was that? How was that firstly for you?
It's very similar, very similar. Cornwall's a very proud. Cornwall's a very proud rugby culture, and I was very proud of what I did in rugby in Cornwall. We were county champions with St Austell Saints, but also, my grandpa was someone who was like, "You're not playing that silly sport, are you?" No, you're not. But I kind of kept him happy by playing both at the same time. So at one point during college, I think I was practicing and training 9 times a week.
Wow.
So every day was rugby college because it was like an academy, and then like game on Saturday, practice on Sunday, and Tuesdays and Thursdays were twice, like two practices a day. So it'd be like rugby in the day at college, American football at night, and then on the Thursday it'd be like training in the morning, game at night, or game in the day and training at night, vice versa. So it was hectic. But all my teammates, to be honest, they were kind of like, they'd make jokes and everything like that, but like I committed to both, so they couldn't really say anything. I was like, I'm still here, aren't I? Like, I'm still playing. And then when I went to uni, I was like, am I going to join the rugby team or am I going to join the American football team? And that part was, was like actually quite easy. I was like, the culture of American football that you typically find is not. Rugby culture can be quite toxic at university levels, whereas American football culture, I don't know, it seems very welcoming, very nice, and like, and so I kind of was like, I want to do that. Like, I've got more opportunities to be great at this here than just kind of blend into another rugby crowd. And so other than my grandpa, most people were like, my parents were a bit like scratching their head, looking at me like, you sure? Like, yeah, okay, if you want, like, yeah, go for it. Like, driving me to practices, taking me to games and everything like that. So, couldn't ask for more as far as support's concerned. But yeah, my grandpa still loves to make a joke about it.
I love it. But that's exactly how I in uni, when I went to uni to start off with. I tried out for the rugby team to start off with because I was like, well, this is all I know. But what I found, I mean, exactly like you said, like the culture, the attitude in a uni team is so much more different, and it's especially when I was growing up, in this local team in Bangor, and it was like a family type thing there, and then to go to this university side, and it was nothing like it. I was quite fortunate in the sense that I did meet, the American football team on the sports fair, like stalls type thing. And I remember one of the lads there was like, oh yeah, I used to play rugby, now I don't. And I've been playing this, and like I've never turned back. And he said, like, there's a bunch of other people. What harm will one like tryout session do for you? And I just remember going, and like I think the weather played a big part in it. It was like sunny day, Sunday morning. There was speakers blaring. There were different like stations for different positions, and it just it seemed like I was in America type thing. It was like, this is sick. This is like I haven't had anything like this before, and from the get-go, they were just welcoming. It was like a family. And it was like straight away they were like, okay, we're going out. We'll go out to the pub. Come with us. They were looking after me, and then like it is completely different. I had I recorded another episode not long ago, and it was with his name is Gwilym Evans. So he basically played it. There used to be a Carnarvon American football team. So Carnarvon is like a big town in North Wales. They used to have a team back in the late 80s, and he said the same, that he didn't play rugby because he didn't get in with the culture. He didn't really vibe with it. But then American football was just completely different, even though the team might not have lasted as long as he would have liked to, but everyone just felt like a family. And when he was reminiscing about it, looking through like these old like newspaper clippings, stuff like that, he was like, his face was just like brightening up when he was seeing people's faces. He was able to reminisce. So I can't advocate enough or big up enough how great American football is, just like not only as a sport but just to get people together as well.
100%.
So no, it's brilliant. So we'll go back to coaching. So head coach of the South Wales Warriors, but do you play as well as head coach there?
Yeah. So it was really unorthodox. I only know one other coach in Britball that does it. I don't think he still does it now. And in the year that I think in my first the year before was it the first season I took the job on, his team were playing in the final for Division One. And I was like,
wow.
So I was like, you can be successful and do it. I was like, okay, cool, you can be in the final and do it. I was like, okay. But yeah, it's very complicated. There's a lot of trust in the players, a lot of trust in the staff.
Yeah.
Every week in, week out, all the players, all the coaches just come through. They are absolutely brilliant, and I could never speak highly enough about all of them, because it was a difficult decision, but I was like, I'm still in my 20s. I'm still desperate to play. I've got fuel in the tank, and I'd like to think that I'm a productive player on the field. No matter where you put me, I will always give my all and give my energy. And I guess it shows a different, it's not your stereotypical leadership that your coach would show, but also it is still a type of leadership that I wish to demonstrate to players about how things are done. I want to bring enthusiasm, not only to when we're talking on the sidelines and giving my insight there, but also giving my insight whilst we're playing together. And, I'm really fortunate players have bought into that idea. And again, I'm grateful that they bought into it, because it gives me that opportunity to still play. And there is nothing like celebrating that. Yeah, sorry.
No, it's all good. I'm just thinking, like, so how the hell do you manage to coach on the sideline and play at the same time? Do you have like an assistant head coach who you have a lot of trust in to do that side of things during the game day, or are you coming off after defensive drive or offensive drive, blowing smoke, being like, right, okay, let's do X, Y, and Z?
No,
like how does it work?
I very much and owe this to Coach Dan from UE. I remember being like, at Spa doing everything. Like, there was only me and two other coaches, maybe two, sometimes just me and one other coach, trying to just do everything as coaches. And you're so hands-on, and you're over here and you're over there. And I was watching Coach Dan, and he just he's overseeing everything. Everything runs through him still. He's got such a brilliant control of the game, and an excellent control over the players and the coaches. And so it allowed me to go, okay, no, just trust your guys and allow them to do what they do well. And, we are still very unorthodox. I mean, last year, HC, OC, and DC, the worst cover band ever, by the way.
Brilliant.
We all three of us were on the field at one point. You know, like
No way.
The OC is the quarterback. The DC was our kind of hybrid linebacker safety, and I'm playing defensive line. And yeah, we were all playing at the time because we were all kind of like, you know, we were all capable. You know, we were all players on the team before. This year, the DC has gone just to DCing, but that's not through fault of his own. Unfortunately, he had an ACL injury at the end of last season.
Oh wow!
So he's kind of been forced to coach.
Yeah, to stay on the
sideline. But he's kind of my guy at the moment where I'm like, I really need you to just like if I'm on the field, I need you to man the ship and take the wheel. And I mean, there's no one else I'd really rather do that for, ask that of, because Alex Ampleford, the DC, is just fantastic. His knowledge, his energy, his effort, is what he brings to the table as a coach is just like, couldn't ask for more.
It must be really hard for you guys then to almost like keep a level head and not be biased in any way. So let's say, especially if the OC is a quarterback, it must be really easy for not to blame others, but if you're playing and obviously you're the one who's made the playbook and everything, it's quite hard to get out. Well, unless otherwise. How I imagine it anyway, it must be hard to almost disassociate yourself and be like, no, I could be messing up, even though it's my brainchild, it's my everything. I got to try and disassociate from being just a player. Okay, I am still an OC. So how do you guys practice that? I guess how throughout your years of doing that, has it progressively gotten better? Like, was it harder to do right off the get go, or have you always just been able to do it?
That's a really good question.
Sorry.
It's really difficult. It's really hard to manage, and you've got to. Again, it goes back to just trusting your guys. I think we do a really good job at reflection. Short term in the macro and like in the long term as well, where if something's not working right, we're not. It's very much trying to push that ego aside. It was something. It bothers me with every team that you kind of, any bad team that I've come across. It's always there's always ego issues, and for us, Max Milburn OC, Alex Ampleford DC, humble. They will put their hand if something goes wrong. Boom, hand up, and if something goes wrong on the team as a whole, then boom, it's me. It's on me. And there's nothing really that can be said or done, and it's going to be painful to watch the film back. And we do make mistakes, and but they've got to be well-timed mistakes and brave mistakes. Sometimes it just things don't go right. You make a bad call. A great example of it for us, myself, with we were playing the Bristol Apache 2 years ago, my first year in charge. We need to win this game, and we were playing at home, and we were losing 7-0, fourth quarter, last pretty much 30 seconds left in the game. We pull off a game-tying drive, essentially. It's 7-6. Our starting kicker is out of the game. We've got a backup in, and I said, and I'd seen him kicking pre-game and was like, okay,
oh, no.
Yeah. And I said, no, let's go for the win. I was like, let's just go for the win. Let's go for the win. Let's go for the win. Let's go for 2. And damn, we didn't get it. We lost the game 7-6. And unfortunately, that game bumped us down a seed in the playoffs later to go. But fortunately, we got out of it. We got ourselves out of the situation. But at the end of the day, I turned around and was like, that was on me. Should have let the guy kick it, and take the draw. The draw would have put us in better stead. And but it happens. Our guys are really, Coach Max, Coach Alex. They're both really, we had a preseason game. Max threw 2 picks. It was his first game coming back off a broken humerus in his arm, and I went over to him and was like, "We might just want to keep running it, mate." And he was like, "Don't you think I know that? It's all good." And, he was like, "This is not a good day," and and I knew full well. I was like, "Okay, the same guy's there. He just needs more reps." And boom, like you have more reps, felt more comfortable, and he's seems to be back to where he was. So it's very difficult. It's you just got to stay grounded, stay humble.
Yeah, 100%.
And just read it. Just take a step back and read it as a coach and go, if this was another team, how would I look at this? And if it's bad, it's bad. It's
No, it's refreshing. It's refreshing to hear, teams having that mindset, because I do worry sometimes that some coaches might, their egos might take over more than anything else, and then it just makes the culture, or the how the team operates just so much harder to work with. Then I think what we'll do now, let's go, if we bring it back to Welshness and the Wales. So let's talk about the South Wales Warriors, and start off with quick question: are there any Welsh speakers on the South Wales Warriors team?
Yeah, we do have a couple. We have I know for a fact that we've got I believe we had Babe Atkins. He's no longer on the staff this year. He was a fluent Welsh speaker, but we do have a few Welsh speakers. And oh god, I'm trying to remember who it is now. Yeah, we do.
No, I'll put you on the spot.
I know, don't worry. I should have done my research prior to be like, who's my Welsh speaker? And then I should have nominated them to come in and help out on this. We do have Welsh speakers on the team. I'm going to expose my English side here, and I'm very sorry. And it's important to appeal to that audience as well, like you're doing. It is because, we are. There aren't many faces in American football in Wales. I think we're lucky that we've got a youth setup that's doing really well. We're really fortunate. It was really awesome to have 3 South Wales Warriors wins in week 1 of the BAFA season, with the youth team getting 2 wins away at a tournament, and then us capping it off. And then also there's the Cardiff Valkyries as well, the women's team. Going as well. So there are opportunities out there, and the flag game's growing exponentially. We went to a flag tournament for the Welsh Bowl.
The Welsh Bowl, I was gutted. I missed out. I missed out on going. I had something else going on at the same time. I had training. I was coaching the same day. But I'd have loved to be there. It looked great.
Yeah, good atmosphere. And I finished the day going, do you know what? I see why people play flag now. I was like, I've done it as a joke, as a bit of fun. Yeah. And I was like, do you know what? Yeah, no, there's some really good athletes here. This is a great game. And they put on a great day. So it was, it was great to meet more Welsh speakers there. There was certainly plenty.
No, it's so. Let's see. So, with you being the only Welsh side competing at a level, do you have any play calls or anything in Welsh just to catch people off, or have you not managed to do that yet?
No, we don't really have anything that like ingrained into the calls or anything like that. We have we have players from and maybe we should make more of an effort to do that. It was the first thing my fiance suggested to me when she was like when we would like when I was writing up a playbook and sending it out and going to back and forth to coordinators. She was like, "Go have some Welsh calls in there." I was like, but also there was a lot of doing what we'd done before, but doing what you've been taught. So, and maybe we should do better at that. But we do, we have our team slogan, Hell for Rebelware, which means Warriors Hunt. It's on it's on all of our jerseys. It's in the little the collar part there. It goes into a lot of like the stuff that we put out, and it's also kind of an attitude that we want to instill as well. We want to go and hunt everything you're doing. Whether it's hunting for scores, hunting for tackles. You want that kind of, that kind of enforcement, that kind of attitude and mindset to be your team. Yeah, yeah.
What's
So,
the what's the support like? Well, as in like attendance or following the team, with you being a Welsh side as well, because with it not, it's not the most popular game in Wales. So how do you guys, how do you guys fare with attendance or the support you get in general from the Welsh public?
we are very lucky. We have a great home setup. Llanharan RFC, they're great hosts to us. They have been for absolutely ages. And there's no place I'd rather play on Sunday. Like great grass field, got a covered stand, the bar's open for fans. Um, it's a great day. There's hot food served at the game in the clubhouse. Cheap Welsh pints, for fans.
There we go. There we go. Now we're talking.
The business head came on there. Yeah, and it's a great atmosphere. We're lucky, we're not like filling out the stands every week, and that's the goal. We want to put a product on the field that people want to turn up for. People want to be entertained. No one really wants to come and watch a 6-6, 6-8 kind of 6-7 scoreline where I know I'm sorry I got into it. I said 6-8 I just missed it. But no one really wants to come and see that kind of old school British American football game. We want to kind of go out there and be entertaining, making people feel like it's worth their afternoon. We have really dedicated family members. We have our locals. Shout out to John, who is John and Adam. They're two of our ultras. They're every game, every game, home or away, rain or shine, playing their pre-game games. With what's it called? It's basically like taking a basketball shot with an American football. Like they are the best fans that you could ever ask for. And it makes it fulfilling to do it for them. John is also on the speaker for us. He announces the team as we run out of the tunnel to smoke and flags. And he's just an asset to the club in every way, shape, or form. Whether it's him cheering for you and catching up with him after the game, or him, calling out your team name and giving you some pride, so we are really fortunate. And a great example of it was when we went to the playoffs in my first year in charge and we played the London Olympians, and they rocked up on the bus. They came off the bus. I went over to say hello, and there was a lot of London's come to Wales, and we own Wales now. They were very animated. God. They were very energetic. They were very excited to come and show us who they were. And it was our first playoff game in a while. And I don't think they were expecting the stand to be packed out with about 250 to 300 fans.
Wow!
And like people rocked up, and when it came down to them, trying to make calls and get this clap, we had fans going absolutely bananas. We had drummers, we had everyone just going bananas, going absolutely wild, and like it actually made a difference. And I was like, to turn around at the end of the game after a 13-0 shutout, and you'd be like, that was kind of on you guys. Like you gave us energy the entire day. So we have a really dedicated, incredible fan base, and it's just about growing it more and more.
Yeah,
and
of course.
I'm excited to do that because, I have a lot of pride for this team, and I want people who come and watch us to have pride in this team because, there's a reason why the Welsh flag is on our jerseys. There is a level of pride, there is a level of representation there, and I certainly believe that, Welsh football should be playing at the highest level of football in British American football. So it's just about how do we get there.
No, I love it. I'm on board with that as well. I mean, I see I know Cardiff are doing, when we talk about university level now, I know Cardiff are doing quite well. I know, Swansea are competing. Aberystwyth were playoff side last year. Us and Bangor were hoping to get back into it now. So it is nice to see, if all these university sides are competing, then it's just great for the sport in Wales as a whole. So no, I'd love to see you guys getting. I see the Bristol Aztecs are everything at the moment. That is the flavour of the month. They are everywhere on BAFTA. Every single content creator for American football is posting stuff about them. But I feel like there's so much more out there. I feel like South Wales Warriors have a bigger niche to be sharing out there. And what talk about South Wales Warriors? Talk to me about last year, because you've only played one game so far this year. So before we talk about this year and what you hope to get out of it, let's talk about last year and how it went for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Last year was very interesting. It was certainly the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. For me as a coach, I think we got off to such a red hot start, and in a way that we weren't expecting. The first year in charge, we got so lucky, and I think I said it in the time, we had barely any major injuries whatsoever. We got through my first year pretty much like unchanged squad wise. The starters remained the same pretty much throughout, as far as like not being injured. And then last year, by end of game 2, midway through the second quarter, our starting quarterback, our offensive coordinator, snaps his humerus against the Somerset Wyverns.
Oh my God.
So it's when you have to talk about responsibility, like we did earlier. The new play caller, offensive line coach Dave Cole, stepped up and called the game for the rest of it because our OC was there with his arm behind his back.
Dumb.
And then the week after that, we have to play the newcomers to our division from the Premiership, the Solent Thrashers, with 1 week and a backup quarterback, and it will probably go down as one of my favourite football memories ever. We're losing 17-6 or 17-8, no, 17-7 at the time, and 17-10. No, 6. I can't remember. We're down a score basically. No, we're down two. We're down 2 scores, and with a backup quarterback in the fourth quarter, we essentially go touchdown, fumble recovery, touchdown in the space of about 2 minutes 40 seconds, and go 3-0 with a backup quarterback. Alex James, our backup QB, athlete, does everything on the field. Great guy. And it was like, wow, we're 3-0 on May the 4th, which was great.
I love it.
And then we kind of worked our way to 6-0, and then boom, the wheels fell off, and you could kind of see our luck riding out. Results just started getting closer and closer. And after the Solent game, we lost one of our, we lost a starting middle backer to a bicep tear, and it was like, oof. And we were very fortunate. We were really lucky after, we got to a certain point in recruitment, people were starting to get very interested, lots of players coming over to join us before the transfer deadline. And it was looking very positive, but we just kind of ran out of steam, and it was really disappointing. So going to that low point, and where we are now is we've built ourselves back up. We've broken ourselves down, we've evaluated it, and now we're kind of building ourselves back together. And it is now just one game at a time, taking it as it comes. And like you said, we're only one game in now. It's very early on, and there's a lot of work to do, but can't shy away from it. There's only one thing to do, and that's knuckle down and work.
Yeah, of course. There seems to be a lot of bloody injuries in the South Wales Warriors camp all the time.
You should see the other team.
Very nice.
We've been really lucky with. We've been pretty lucky, to be honest. You know, you hear some, about other teams as well, and you think, well, thank goodness it's not just us. And we wouldn't be able to do it. You mentioned the uni teams earlier. Like, we wouldn't be able to function as a team if we didn't have the great unis like close by to us. Hopefully one day we'll get some Toronto lads down. We've got some of their past. We've got some old members down playing for us.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't seen a mud dog yet. I'm keen to.
No.
I played with one back at Sharks days.
Really?
Guy called Joby Wolfston Brown plays at Plymouth Vanguard now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was a bang mud dog at one point with the guy called Isaac Marshall, who plays in Finland now. This was back in like 2012, 2013.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Joby, great guy. Nothing but he threw a great touchdown where I missed my pass pro and he broke his rib because of it. So if you ever see this, Joby,
my God!
If you ever see this, Joby, I'm so sorry, man.
Forgive me, I'm sorry.
We've got two really good programs, real close by to us. Sean Vaughan, head coach of the Cobras, great coach, built a great staff, great team. They've got some incredibly talented players.
Yeah.
We're very fortunate to be able to coach and work and have them on our team. Same with Swansea Titans, Peter Hart, the head coach there. He's just gone out to Europe as an offensive lineman. Nothing but respect and appreciation for those guys and the programs they've created, because we wouldn't function without their guys coming in and taking us to another level.
100%. And it's it all starts especially in this country. Well, I mean, I guess in America as well. It all starts at the college or the uni level, doesn't it? It's that's where the talent comes from. That's where it's the same. You think in a football, soccer sense, it's these academies that feed into the pro teams. It's these grassroots level. Some people, other people would say. So no, I love seeing Cardiff being successful. I love seeing you guys being successful. I love seeing Swansea getting their wins as well. It's just great for the game, and I just know that with the wins you get the teams developing, players developing, and it just makes the scene stronger as a whole, which like can't argue with. Like I just love seeing it. We'll move on to more NFL-y stuff. So you said you got into it. You watched the Super Bowl, the Broncos. What was it? Broncos against the Seahawks. So talk to me. Who is your team, and how did you pick that team?
So I got when I watched the Broncos Seahawks game, and my friends were like, "Oh, do you want to play some fantasy football?" I was like, I watch Premier League, yeah, absolutely. And they were like, "No, NFL football." I was like, "Oh, okay."
I love fantasy football.
I do too. I don't know if it's a brag or if it's probably a shame moment. I think it was like I was a part of 8 or 9 leagues at one point. I was like, that's too many leagues.
Listen, hey, Jacob, I was in 13 last year. And don't worry about it. Do not worry. There was always another group chat that could make a fantasy group.
Yeah, too many. And I ended up having so many players playing against each other. I was like, I need to cut this down to like 3. And
I tell myself every year.
Yeah, no, I'm like, last year, the year before last, I was like, time to cull some of these leagues off. I was like, I need to, there's actual football to focus on now, and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, of course.
I started playing fantasy football. I auto-drafted my first year, and then lo and behold, this guy called Andrew Luck was auto-drafted to my team, and I was like, watching it, I was like, oh, this guy seems pretty good. He scores a lot of points every week. I'm going to watch this team. So I switched on a Colts game and was like, oh, this guy's awesome. And then I watched a bit more about it, and I found out about Andrew Luck, and I was like, oh, he's a bit of a nerd. I was like, I too am a nerd. I was like, I relate to this guy.
I
Except,
too am a nerd.
yeah, I was like, I relate to this guy. And then I found out he's more of a smart nerd than I like Star Wars kind of nerd. But
Yeah.
no, and he was just awesome. It was electrifying to watch. It was fun football. You know, it was gritty football. You know, someone who played, you know, every position is violent in American football, I find, but a position that's typically not so violent, to play it with violence and kind of, I don't know, play it with courage and like, you know, that kind of passion. It was something that really resonated with me. And he instantly was like my favorite player. I watched the Colts every week in, week out. And like, it was, yeah, they're my favorite team. I remember a couple of years ago, I was watching the Colts versus the Vikings at my cousin's wedding, phone on my knee, watching the game. I was like, yeah, we're 33-0 up. Best game ever.
Oh my God,
I was like, glad I
of
skipped out and
course.
talking to family and watching this game. This was an absolute barn burner. Messaging my fiance going, hey, Hat, Colts are destroying the Vikings, aren't they? You know, she's a massive Colts fan too. And then for us to just fall apart, and I was like, in the fourth quarter, I was like, I can't believe I just didn't partake in this wedding to watch this game. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, my dad was sat next to me and he went, how's it going? You know, you good? And I was like, no, not good. Not good. Yeah. But
It's like the "Are you
Colts
winning,
fan.
son?" meme. That's what that reminded me of. Was Matty Ice the quarterback at the time? Or am I wrong?
Oh, no,
Who's the quarterback for the game?
Was it Carson Wentz?
Ah, yeah, possibly.
Oh God, no, that's a good question. I think it was Carson Wentz. And then it was Matt Ryan the year after.
Okay.
But needless to say, I'm a massive Colts fan. I've unfortunately burdened my fiance with that love for the Colts too, and it's really been nothing but pain supporting them ever since. Like, yeah, so it's it's a love-hate relationship with the Colts. We had a great start to the year, and now I'm just like, oh God, what is it going to be?
I feel you there with my beloved Saints. It's just pain. It's just pain.
Yeah, we're in a similar boat, don't worry.
Yeah, we are. So talk about the Colts then, and with it having, I think, hasn't been a week yet since the draft. How do you feel? Did you watch the draft? Did you stay up to watch the draft, or?
I did, yeah. No, do you know what? I hadn't watched it the last couple of years. I'd watched the highlights and everything the next morning. I caught a bit of night one, but the Colts didn't have a pick, and we rarely trade up. You know, we normally trade up before the draft, and it's normally for a player. Well, we normally trade up for like a first round player, like DeForest Buckner, for example. But because we acquired Source, there was no pick, and I watched a little bit, and was surprised that like saw the Sean McVay fall out, and then I was definitely we just moved house, so I was like putting furniture together at like stupid o'clock in the morning, and I was like, am I going to build a set of drawers? And I was like, well, the Colts pick is only 18 picks away. I was like, well, might as well put these drawers together and watch and see what happens. I was very pleased, actually. Yeah, no, I saw we got the linebacker out of from Georgia. He seems like a really friendly athlete, and people speak
CJ Allen.
very highly. Yeah. And people speak very highly of him. I've watched a little bit of college football with Georgia in it, and yeah, he's a seriously impressive player, and I think we got an absolute steal there, and then the safety, I think he's a safety out of LSU as well. Right. And what I really love about the Colts is they always seem to. It hasn't kind of worked out necessarily yet. Is they always seem to go for leadership guys, and I like that. It's always about being a great athlete, but also what can your teammate do for you, the rest of the guys. So
100%.
Yeah, they've always seemed to be picking getting captains from from teams and stuff like that, and that's it's an interesting kind of tactic, and so let's hope it pays off at some point.
Yeah, 100%. I really like the draft that the Colts had as well. Like you mentioned, CJ Allen, AJ Holsey. I loved him coming out of college. I thought he was like built, almost built like a running back. Like he's dense, but he's quick, and he's got really good like ball skills as well. You look across, it's very defensive focused draft from you guys. So what do you make of that one as well? You guys focusing more on defense than offense.
I think it's probably the right thing to do. I mean, you just hope that Danny Dimes comes back healthy and as he was. I have huge skepticism about the idea that he is. You look at Aaron Rodgers. I know Aaron Rodgers is a lot older, but you look at the way Rodgers returned in his first year after an Achilles injury, and that concerns me. Alec Pierce is out until like OTA, probably end of OTAs, they said. But also defensively, what we lost there, Franklin, Kenny Moore's probably going to be gone. And those are two great. I love both of those players. I think they're fantastic, And if you think about the amount of tackles that you lose in a guy like Zaire Franklin, like a guy who hits, he led the league in tackles 1 year, like 2 years ago, and was like high up on that list last year as well. How do you replace those numbers? You got to go defensively. I think they were what cost us in massive games last year. It felt like, we had the excitement of Philip Rivers coming back, which was honestly, we got off to such a great start. That was fantastic to watch, but that was my favorite part of the season, watching Philip Rivers come back and I thought he killed it, to be fair. I was a big Philip Rivers. I hated him when he did it just the first time round. I hated it. And then by the end of the season, when we were playing the Bills in the playoffs, I loved him. I was like, that's the guy I would play for 100%. So when he came back,
I loved watching him, play like an old. I say old school quarterback, but it's not even that old school. Like get up to the line and analyzing defense and dissecting it and giving these audible calls and be like, check, they're in, they're in cover, man coverage or. They're in zone. Let's check to this. Let's check to run. Whatever. It's just it's a dying art, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was like watching art. It was a performance, and and not that the game evolves, and people have got to evolve with it. But everything in football comes from somewhere, and to see that kind of it felt very old school. It felt like watching football when which was on its way out when I was watching it for the first time. But you still had your Peyton Mannings, you had your Andrew Lucks, you have your Aaron Rodgers, your Ben Roethlisbergers, your Drew Breeses, who just kind of pick you apart mentally, But to watch him do it was just awesome. And when he threw the first touchdown, he kicks the air. I was like, I remembered why I loved you, Phil. I was like, you were great. Yeah, he was electric. And I wish our defense just played better.
Phil, you're on first name terms with him.
Oh, I wish. Yeah, dude was awesome. I wish and I'm glad we drafted defense because it felt like our defense just let him down. Got to win one game to get in. Win one game, and it just felt like we just couldn't come through for him.
So I think one of my last questions, what do you hope from, or what do you predict the Colts doing this year? How well do you reckon the Colts will do this year?
I don't.
I think I asked this as well. I asked this as well after the Texans have drafted well as well, and they've really solidified their already great defense. So having that, and then the Jags as they are as well. It's a hard division for you guys.
I remember when Andrew Luck retired and everyone was like, well, at least the division's terrible, you still stand a chance. And now it's like, no, the division's all right. The division's pretty good. They're like, the teams might fall on their face every now and again, but I'm very apprehensive about the season for the Colts. God, I was apprehensive last year, and shoot, we proved me wrong a little bit. So, I think it all depends on the health of the O-line and the running back. I think if we can just lean on Jonathan Taylor, and lean on that great offensive line, then I think you got a chance in most games. But I predict something along the lines of 7 to 8 wins, and that's been optimistic.
Wow.
Yeah. So looking forward to not having a first round pick again next year, because I'm sure we'd have a great spot for it as well if we needed to. But yeah, it is what it is. It's give it another year after that, and it's going to be gravy, baby. It's going to be good.
Missing out on this apparent generational draft year that's going to come up. The 2027 draft, apparently everyone's saying it's going to be a generational draft, even though I feel like every 3 years people are saying it's a generational talent pool.
They love to, like, 6 months beforehand, they're like, nah, it's not that, it's going to be, and then every year they hype it up, and there'll always be someone, they're like, this is the year, you've got a real game changer here. So, I mean, just look at the Mariota and Winston draft, where they're like, these two could be like forever going against each other, and then you're like, well, they're both really solid backups now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh man.
Well, I won't keep you much longer. I do realize we're about to hit the hour mark, and I do apologize. It is for anyone who's listening.
Time, man.
Nah, no worries. For anyone who's watching or listening, it is 9:45 at night here at the moment. The last question I ask is, now do you have your next game this Sunday or the following Sunday?
Yeah, man, it is. Next Sunday coming up, 1 p.m. kickoff against the Hereford Stampede at Lanharan RFC. Pre-game will start around midday, around noon. Bar will be open and food will be served. Cash only at the bar for food. Sorry, plug it, man. I've just got to let people know. Because,
of course,
the bigger the crowd,
man.
The better. I'd love to see as many people get down as possible. But yeah, we play the Hereford Stampede. It's an important game to me. I proposed to my fiance at the end of the last time we played these guys.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so it's going to be an emotional day in the sense for me where I'm like, yeah, this fixture means something to me personally. I know the guys are always mentally ready, prepared, and South Wales Warriors is 25 years old this year, and we want to keep going on a good season. Yeah, man.
Wow, I did not know South Wales Warriors have been going.
I should have dropped that sooner, to be fair. It came in
25 years.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, since 2001 we've been going as South Wales Warriors. Yeah, we got talking about the NFL. I was like, I better chuck that in at some point. So,
yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no,
my bad for taking
Josh Hughes,
course.
The guy who runs everything for us behind the scenes for the most. He would turn around and go, "You didn't mention it was 25 years, mate." I'll go, sorry, I'm sorry.
25 years. That is nuts. Man. Do you get a lot of? Sorry, I know I said last question, but it's just do you get a lot of, the old, the old band or the old garrison from 25 years ago, still rocking up to games or still taking part or still having a part in the team in some sense? Or
I don't necessarily know about the 25 years, like players from that far ago. I know we had a guy called Warren Coombs, everyone calls him Wazza. I think he might have been there, and he played for us until the year before last.
Wow.
And he played safety, and I've never seen someone who is his size. He's a very slight, he's in good shape and great fitness, but I've never seen someone of his size and stature just deliver a hit, like knockout power hits. And like terrifying. I'm glad I never played wide receiver against my defense, because if I got hit by him, I probably wouldn't have been in year 13. I might have ended my career right there and then. But yeah, no, we have coaches and like the coach Geraint, who was in charge for a long time before me, and he comes down to games every now and again. Hugh Bebb was my DC when I joined the club, and he had been there for ages, and he popped, it was great to see him down at the game against Bournemouth a couple of weeks ago. So brilliant. Guys do pop up every now and again, and it's always great to reminisce and learn more names that kind of add to the history of the team. So, Louis Americanaidd used to play for us back in the 80s.
Should
Well,
like
the Tiger Bay Warriors, I think he was. Or,
he was, yeah. No, I mean that's a testament to how close knit and how close the culture, or how great the culture has been at that club for so long, for people who've been part of that team way back to still take an interest or still support them, still support you guys now. That is great to see. That's something like teams wish to have. That's great to hear.
Yeah, no, and I think it is. I think it's a lot of like Welsh pride as well. We people do take it seriously, and it's something that I've always tried to acknowledge as someone who's not Welsh. Is like this is something that you need to cultivate and protect and look after and nurture, because it's valuable to people, and your people's histories and backgrounds are important, and if you're not respecting that, then what we're doing at the base level, really. So I'm glad people have that pride in it. I think it was something that I really wanted to do when I took charge, was put pride in Welsh football, put pride in the name. We hadn't had the best reputation in years past, and to have that reputation now that we are, with someone to be taken seriously, and we play hard quality football, hard-nosed football, as Babe Atkins would say. It's a lot to be proud of.
I think that is a beautiful spot to end on. Coach Jacob, thank you very much. I see there's a lot of what you say I could get on board with, and I feel like there's a lot of things that I try and also emulate at Bangor. So thank you very much for taking up over an hour of your time to ramble with me. I really appreciate it.
No, I really appreciate the opportunity to speak. I wish you all the best at Bangor. Sorry. And thank you ever so much. I look forward to, I hope everything goes well, and thanks ever so much, mate.
No, thank you very much. I wish I lived a little bit closer so I could come watch a South Wales Warriors game. That is something I've always tried to think of, but it's like almost like a 5-hour journey to come down.
Well, if you ever get the opportunity, man, the door's always open. Free entry, remember? So, if you want to ever come down and cover a game, just let us know.
I'd love to.
Sort something out.
I'd love to. Thank you very much, Jacob.
No worries. You have a lovely rest of your evening, mate.
Hey, thank you very much. We'll end it there. Da chi wedi bod yn gwrando i Ydy'r Helmut Fitio efo fi, Cynan Will, and Jacob Law. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.